Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today we'll be doing the CSEC Mathematics January 2021 paper 2. We'll be looking at questions 1 and 2. But if you're new to the channel, make sure that you hit that subscribe button, turn on your notification bell so that you know when new videos are being uploaded. And an important notice, please do not skip the ads, please watch them. It is your way of showing your appreciation for the hard work that goes into preparing these videos for your benefit. So don't skip them, watch them. So let's get into this paper. And also give this video a thumbs up by liking it. It does well in helping this video to reach as many students as possible. So let's get into question 1. The A part, the first part, in fact, the instruction says answer all questions, all workings must be clearly shown. Using a calculator or otherwise, calculate the exact value of 1 and 4/7 plus 2/3 minus or subtract 1 and 5/6. So we know this is a fraction. Now we know the first step in solving our fraction is that where any mixed number, mixed fraction, we're going to have to change that to an improper fraction. So 1 and 4/7, we know that we're going to have to change it to an improper fraction. So how do we do that? We multiply our denominator by a whole number and then we add our numerator. So we have 11/7 plus 2/3 subtract 11/6. Now the next step is that we're going to have to find our lowest common multiple of between 7, 3, and 6. So what number all of them can go into? That's 42. So our denominator would be 42. So 7 into 42 goes 6 times, and then we multiply that by 11. Plus or add 3 into 42 goes 14 times, and then we multiply that by our numerator 2. 6 into 42 goes 7 times, and we multiply 7 by 11. And of course, we put in our subtraction sign. So 6 multiplied by 11 is 66, plus 14 multiplied by 2 is 28, subtract 7 times 11 is 77, and our answer is 17/42. That is our answer, and you will get 2 marks for that. And you can always just plug the entire fraction into your calculator, and there you have your answer. So let's move on to the other question. So that should be a quick one that you easily get 2 marks for. The next part of the question says the cube root of 27 over 9 square as a fraction in its lowest terms is, so the cube root of 27, we know that is 3. How did we get 3? We know that 3 multiplied by 3 multiplied by 3, that's 3 times, and we get 27. So we have 3 over 9 square is 9 multiplied by 9. So we're going to simplify that now. 3 into 3 goes 1 times, 3 into 9 goes 3 times. So down by our numerator, we have 3 times 9, and at the top we have 1. So our fraction would be 1/27, and you will get your full 2 marks for that. So those 2 first questions are very easy. Let's go on to the other question. It says the B part, the thickness of one sheet of cardboard is given as 485 times 10 to negative 2 power millimeter. A construction worker uses 75 sheets of the cardboard stacked together to insulate a wall. The first part of the question says, show that the exact thickness of the insulation is 363.75 millimeters. So there we get our answer. Now we know the first step is that they gave us one sheet is of cardboard is 485 times 10 to negative 2. So if we're going to find 75 sheet, how much that is valued, then we're going to have to multiply that by 75. So we have 485 times 10 negative 2 raised to negative 2 power times 75. And there we get our answer, 363.75 millimeter. And that's 1 mark. The other part of the question is 2 parts. Says the second part, write the thickness of the insulation. A, correct to 2 significant figures. So 363.75 to 2 significant figures. We know the number that we're looking at is 3. So rounding off that to the nearest whole number, we get 360 millimeters. So that would be your answer. Next question. The B part says, correct to 1 decimal place. So we have 363.75. What's our deciding digit? What's the digit that we're looking at? 5. So we are left with 363.75. So we know that we're going to have to add 1 to that. So we get 363.8 millimeters. So those are some easy questions first. So let's move on to the other part of the question. Okay, the C part says we're going to have to write that in standard form. So we know we move the decimal point 2 places to the left. So we get 3.6375 times 10 raised to the negative 2 power, because we move to the left, and you'll get 1 mark for that. The C part of the question now. So we're dealing with exchange rate now. It says Marco is on vacation in the Caribbean. He changes 4,500 Mexican pesos to Eastern Caribbean dollars, ECD. He receives 630 ECD. Complete the statement below about the exchange rates. This is the first question that I have seen here on a CXC past paper that has Mexican pesos. Interesting. So you're going to have to convert 1 ECD, how much Mexican pesos that is valued, and you get 1 mark. So looking at our question, we get 630 ECD, and that is equal to 4,500 Mexican pesos. So 1 ECD, we would have to divide 4,500 into 630. We get 7.1428. So rounding off our answer, we would get, or for some calculator it may give them fraction. For example, they may get 50 over 7. And when you divide 50 into 7, you would get 7.14 Mexican pesos. So 7.143, 7.14, it's the same. So that would be your answer for question C. Let's move on to the next part of the question. So we're going on to question 2. So we're looking at algebra factorization in particularly. So the A part says, factorize the following expression completely. So we have 12n squared minus or subtract 4mn. So first we know what's our common factor. Our common factor would be 4n. So 4n into 12n squared, we're left with 3n. Subtract 4n into 4mn, we're left with m. So the equation is 4n, open bracket, 3n minus m. That would be your answer. And that's where 1 mark. So you should quickly get that 1 mark. Easy question. Let's go on to the B part. It says, show that, so we have an algebraic fraction here. Show that x over 1 minus x minus 4x is equal to x, open bracket, 4x minus 3 over 1 minus x. So we're going to have to prove now. So we're proving our answer. So we know the first thing we have. So we're working with one side of the equation to show that it is equal to the other side. So the part that we'll be concentrating is x over 1 minus x minus 4x. So you can always put the 4x over 1 because once it's fraction, we know we're going to find the denominator. So the denominator would be 1 minus x. So 1 minus x. So 1 minus x into 1 minus x, that's 1. So we multiply that by the x. Put our subtract 1 into 1 minus x. We are left with 4x, and you multiply that by 1 minus x. That is equal, when you multiply that out, x minus 4x plus 4x squared over 1 minus x. Then we trying to simplify that out now. So we have x, open bracket, 4x minus x, open bracket, 3 over 1 minus x. Then we multiply that, x over 4x minus 3 over 1 minus x. So when we transpose that out, that's our answer. So we know that it is equal to that. So we've proven our answer. Let's move on to the next part of the question. The second part says, hence, solve the equation. So we have x over 1 minus x minus 4x equal to 0. So when it says hence, it means that it's a follow-up from the previous part of the question that you have worked out. So since we have worked out the previous question and our answer was x open bracket 4x minus 3 over 1 minus x, we put that equal to 0. So we know that we're going to have to cross multiply 1 minus x multiplied by 0. So we know that would be 0, and 1 multiplied by x open bracket 4x minus 3, that would be the same result. So we have x 4x minus 3 in bracket equals 0. So x is equal to 0, or 4x minus 3 is equal to 0. When we work that out, x is equal to 3 over 4. So we divide it by 4 to get x. So x is equal to 3 over 4. So that is your answer for that question. So let's move on to the other part of the question now. The C part of the question is, make V the subject of the formula P equal square of 5 plus Vt. So P is equal to the square root of 5 plus Vt. Now, in order for us to, because we know we are going to have to do transposition, so we would have to square both sides to get rid of the square root. So we are left with P squared equal 5 plus Vt. So we have P squared. When we know we're taking over the 5 over the equal sign, it becomes negative. So P squared minus 5 equals Vt. So we remember we're making V the subject. We divide through by T, we divide through by T to make V the subject. So V is equal to P squared minus 5 over T. So that would be your answer. And that's 2 marks for that question. Let's go on to the next part of the question now, the final part. It says, the distance needed to stop a car, d, varies directly as the square of the speed, s, at which it is traveling. A car traveling at a speed of 70 kilometers per hour requires a distance of 40 meters to make a stop. What difference is required to stop a car traveling at 80 kilometers per hour? So we know that this is a constant of proportion or a variation question. So right away we know that d varies s squared. So we know that to change a varies sign, we put d equal k s squared. So where k is a constant of proportion, so here in the question we're given that d is equal to 40, s is equal to 70. So what we do, we're going to substitute. So D, where we see D, we're going to replace that with 40. So D equal KS squared. So we're substituting. So D, so 40 equal K, open bracket, 70 squared. So K is equal to 40 divided by 70 squared. So D is equal to 40 over 70 squared. S squared. So we know that S now is equal to 80. So we are finding S squared now. So D, since we found D to be 40 over 70 squared multiply. Now S squared, as we know, S is 80. So it says when S is equal to 80 kilomiles per hour. So we're substituting now 80 squared. So 40 times 80 divided by 70 times 70, we get 52.244, and we round that up. We know our answer is 52.24 meters, and that's 2 marks. So in total, for question 2, you would have gotten 9 marks. So this is it. We have come to the end of question 1 and 2. So don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And remember to watch the ads. So we'll see you in the next video.